Welcome to the SwineTime podcast here at Pipestone. I am your host, Spencer Wayne. I'm one of the staff veterinarians here. I'm also one of the owners of Pipestone Holdings, and I'm here with one of the other owners and one of my partners, Joseph Yaros. Joseph is one of the other veterinarians that I get to work with daily on helping clients with health needs and whatnot. So today's topic is...
we're not even going to start with any ad reads or anything?
No, I didn't have any.
Ad reads?
Do we have any sponsorship you need to recognize? BetterHelp.com.
I was wondering if we had BetterHelp, maybe some Squarespace.
Yeah, Nordic VPN.
Both?
Yeah. I'm sorry, NordVPN, not Nordic. NordVPN. No, we don't have. We got no sponsorship.
I was, with the number of Chevy trucks that we have on the road, we should at least have a Chevy sponsorship, something along those lines.
Could say like a rock. What was the?
That was it.
Like a rock.
Ad reads, when you're listening to podcasts, it's almost an expectation. It's not like people would be surprised about it. They're just
it fits into the conversation.
It's the plus 15 seconds afterward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. The Spotify 15 second advance to get past it. Yeah. No sponsors for our listeners. We have no sponsors. I want to read something, though, before we get into it.
Okay.
You haven't introduced yourself properly, but...
So my name, Joseph Yaros, veterinarian with Pipestone for 9 years, 9 going on 10 years. Flies right by. And I would be, just like Spencer, working with producers throughout the Midwest. And I also have some responsibilities overseas in some of the operations we have in China. So I think that was the last podcast
Did we talk? I don't remember. You've been on before a couple times, I think. In getting ready for this, I said, I got Joseph on. I should really get some feedback from people that work with you. And so I said, I need a quote from somebody that knows Joseph. And so I got this. I'll read it. Tell me what you think. So it starts out with this. Joseph Yaros is a man of commitment, focus, sheer will. Something you know very little about. And I thought, man, that's pretty heavy. And they continued, and they said, the bodies he buried have formed the foundation for what we are today. And so I thought that was pretty heavy stuff coming from the cleaning lady that shows up after hours. Like, you had that much of an impression on her. So, okay, that explains who you are a little bit, the level of intensity. Okay, then
the bodies I buried.
The bodies you buried have formed the foundation for what we are today.
Human, pig, you name it. Yep, yep.
Okay, then I got another quote. This actually came from you. I was thinking, I need a quote from Joseph. And the question is, somebody asked you one time, what is the best in life? You said, it's to crush your enemies.
That was last week. Wasn't that last week?
That was last week you said that. So, yeah. For the listeners, Joseph's super intense. I used to be intense. Joseph's got all the intensity of youthfulness and everything on his side. So Joseph's an intense person. So that was pretty good descriptions of Joseph, actually. So
minus the potential murder implications.
Not murder.
I just want to reiterate that I do not have any open court cases or
even
legal
open
matters
investigations.
or investigations regarding murder. Just
not headed.
We're going to squash those real quick.
Yeah, should have a disclaimer on that. Okay. So to get to the serious topics of today, how to identify sick pigs is the stated topic of discussion. So we all kind of deal with it as veterinarians, and the pig farmers out there listening would say, yeah, they deal with it. But you're the invited expert today, so why don't you start out with things that are on your mind regarding that topic?
Yeah, it is something that you see as soon as you start walking through any facility with pigs of any age, trying to ensure that pigs are going to be as healthy as they can be, and that realistically, if there are ones that need some additional assistance, that we are identifying which pigs those are. And, I was thinking that we are experiencing a little bit of some snow challenges as of late. I put together some acronyms.
Acronyms help people remember things.
Acronyms help people remember things that they may be seeing inside facilities, and I thought that I'd make them themed with the current season. So the first acronym I put together is the Santa acronym.
Okay.
Santa. So if we go through the list of an acronym with starting with S on Santa, I have stance. So the way that these pigs are standing, I think, plays a big factor on whether they are sick or not. If they are standing with their head up and they look bright and alert and they are moving with no problems, excellent. But if you see pigs that have their heads down, pigs that have their ears sitting down as well, that is definitely a cause for concern. And that could be one pig in the pen, or that could be the entire pen at a moment with some sort of issue that's going on. But the first thing I'd bring up is the stance.
And that's not lameness related necessarily. That's just pigs that don't look right, don't stand right. Mm-hmm. They're droopy. Mm-hmm. They stand different. They look different.
It could indicate one of many different problems. In some sense, a lower energy. And it could be a respiratory issue or a gut health issue or something else. But realistically, if you see pigs that are standing with their heads drooped and their ears down instead of ears up, that would be a cause for concern of that particular individual.
Okay. What is next?
Next, under A of the Santa acronym, we have appetite or anorexia. If you see a pig that is slab-sided, does not have a good belly fill, we've got a problem. That pig is going to be one that should receive treatment in some form and maybe go into another pen to have some extra tender loving care, TLC, with his friends. But I think that if they are not eating, you're going to be creating some additional challenges in the future.
Okay. So how they stand,
Mm-hmm.
are they filled out or not? It looks like they're eating.
Mm-hmm.
Next.
Yep. Next, under the N, I'm going to put neurologic signs. If you see pigs that are not walking correctly, if you see pigs that are ambulating, but they are kind of have their head turned to the side, if they are walking in a circle, if they do not run away from you when you walk towards them like you would normally expect a pig to do so, I would be thinking that pig has some neurologic challenges, and that's something that would not be normal.
How do you differentiate between neurologic and just weak? Because a lot of times neurologic is neurologic. They're gut, head tilt, they're all goofy, versus pigs that turn around and just wobble because they're like the slabby pig that doesn't want to stand. They don't feel good. They're so weak. Either way, if they're not walking right, it's a clue.
Either way, I think you just identified a sick pig problem if they're weak. Mm-hmm. Great job.
All right. Thanks, Joseph. Next. S.
The other for sure problem that you would note in the neurologic sign category is if pigs are laying on their sides. If you have pigs that are laying on their sides, not able to get up, that's a problem. That pig needs some help.
And that's part of the what was I'm trying to think of the one that was about the neurologic. That was part of neurologic.
I'm still on the end of the Santa acronym here. Yes.
Okay, so if they're on their side paddling, that's definitely neurologic.
That's
Okay.
More than likely, 9 times out of 10, you could have a water shortage problem, and you see paddling as a result of that. But that is quite rare.
Mm-hmm. Not the normal stuff.
Luckily, yeah.
Okay.
And then the T in the Santa acronym, I'm going to defer to Spanish here. The Spanish word for cough is tos, or tachypnea, which essentially means if you see pigs that are breathing heavy or pigs that are coughing, we've got a problem. So a clinical sign of something to look at for problem pigs, if they are breathing heavier than normal, especially if they're thumping would be another good one for the T.
Yeah.
Then we're definitely going to want to get that pig some extra help.
Yeah, because you just basically required our audience to be bilingual in that one letter.
I provided the translation as well.
Okay. But thump is a nice stand-in, so thumping. All right. Breathing, something with the lungs, how they're breathing.
Yeah, and thumping, it's a term that some people have a good understanding of, and other folks have had to explain it. And it's where when you see the pig's abdomen breathing in and out, just like you would normally see respiration, some people have other terms for it, but I like to use the term thumping.
Yeah, classic for PERS. Basically, they're breathing, but it's almost like a percussive breathing, like they're really having to force the lungs to exhale completely.
Not to move into one of the next sections of topics we'll talk about, but pigs to treat. But those pigs, if they are thumping, you're going to want to ensure those pigs get treatment sooner rather than later, because it's never a good indicator for prognosis.
Right. So T.
So
thumping.
We've got T, tos, or thumping, or tachypnea, multiple options here. Mm-hmm. And then the last A in the Santa acronym, we have ambulation. I want to make sure those pigs are moving appropriately. So specifically if they're lame, if they are not able to get up on their own without some additional assistance, if they're slow to get up, if they're toe touching on the back end, that would be a concern. So I would want to make sure that those pigs are ambulating okay, or they are not lame.
Okay. That's different than your stance. Stance
Correct.
is an attitude visualization. It's not a ambulatory in how they're walking. Okay. All right. So your acronym, SATAN.
A.
No.
SANTA. Santa.
I'm going with Satan. No. Santa. Okay. Santa's better. Stance.
We got stance, appetite, neurologic,
tuss or
thumping,
yep,
and ambulation.
Ambulation, got it. Santa. Go ahead.
I just thought we'd go with the season,
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the next acronym?
The other acronym I put together, fits with the season of winter. So in this acronym of winter, WINTER, I thought that not quite as many different things laid out in the winter acronym, but if we're going to look at WINTER, first you're going to have water intake. That's going to be your WINT, water intake.
Okay.
And I want to make sure that those pigs are taking in plenty of water. And if you see a decrease from one day to the next, or especially a 3-day rolling average, you've got a problem. Sometimes you won't see changes in the barn specifically, but you'll see a decrease in the water intake. Mm-hmm. You should track that, and you're going to have a problem if it's going down.
Yeah. I would say, comment on the side, it's huge and not often done. A lot of times people actually record it, but then don't look if it's decreased or increased. It's only after the pigs start looking bad, they think, oh, mama darn. They actually did go down 5-6 days ago. I'm like, no, you needed to know day number 2 or 3 to take action, not 6 or 7. But the clues are there. It's always precedes some kind of a noticeable health thing, and the water always precedes it. It's not like they got sick and stopped drinking water as much on the same day the water started first.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Right. You need to... I think the important thing is just having the monitor period. I'm kind of surprised how many sites I go to where I say, hey, what's the water intake been? And they will say, I don't have a meter. I'm not exactly sure. Mm-hmm. And in 2025, when we're looking at the technologies that exist out there, it's a relatively cheap intervention to have, or tool to have in place to be able to have a very good appreciation of how your pigs are doing. I know some individuals who they'll have these water meters you can check on your phone from anywhere in the world, and they'll have all their different sites there, and they can wake up in the morning as you're drinking coffee, just like you are, just might not be in as quite of nice of a mug as what you have right now, Spencer. It's a good one, yeah. You can check the water intake today compared to the last couple of days, and it'll give you an alert if you're more than 10 or 15% lower than what you've been. And that can really kind of drive, hey, where do I need to go today? Boom, right there.
And many platforms for that. There's several, a lot of controllers you can integrate that in. The barn tools set. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different ways to do that. Very least, you got a meter in the barn. Almost always you can record it.
No free ads, Spencer. We're not getting any ad reads yet.
That's right.
Okay.
Better help. Okay. But a lot of tools are out there to record that. But it's amazing how many people don't. And maybe they're used only after the fact. Like, yeah, they did go down in their water. Way after the fact. So use it as a tool. WINT.
So some people like acronyms where every letter is another word. We're flexible here.
But we're flexible. What about the rest of the word?
Well, WINT is water intake, and then EE is energy. If you see a lower energy in the barn, like unfortunately when I visit sites or you visit sites, it can often be when pigs are not doing the best. We get calls to assist individuals when there's challenges with their groups. And one of the first things that I will do to get somewhat of an assessment on just how significant the health challenge is you walk in the room, you bang on the wall, and you should get a nice loud bark, a nice loud pig woof type experience. And if you don't get that, you have a pretty good appreciation that there's a big problem in this room. And that would directly correlate to lower energy. And if your group or you see pigs that have low energy, it's usually not a good indicator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely get a feel for it when you walk in, and you feel so good when the room vibrates for minutes on end because the pigs don't stop moving because they're flying like bees almost. You think this is good.
This is good.
Okay. All right. So
and then,
winter.
And then the last part for R in the winter acronym is repeat the first two parts. Look at the water and look at the energy. I think that when I am assessing a group of pigs, the most important things you can look at are going to be the water intake and the energy in general. So if there's ever any doubts, refer back to those first two topics, water intake and energy in general.
Okay. All right. Water intake, energy, and then repeat the observation just to keep watching it.
Yeah.
All right. So Santa, winter.
And
what's next?
That's where I'm done.
That was it?
Got 2 acronyms. Yep.
Oh, I thought you had a whole page of them.
I crossed out the other ones. Yep. We got 2.
Nothing inappropriate there. Okay. All right. We were talking a little before we recorded today. The acronyms are great tools. One of the thoughts as you approach this was, all right, I got pigs to treat. The best of groups are still going to have a few pigs to treat. It's rare. Well, I'd say it never occurs that you place a couple thousand pigs that there's no pig that never needed help. A few always need help at the very least, and timely intervention is important. At the best, at the worst, the whole group needs a lot of medication a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. What are the thresholds that you look at for I'm treating pigs, I'm treating this percent of pigs, I'm having this mortality? When do you start ramping up the medication game for responding to what you're seeing? Do you have rules of thumb for that, or how do you approach that?
Good question. I think the issue is correlated to what clinical sign you're dealing with. So, for example, when I hear of groups of, we'll say, late stage nursery or early finishing or mid finishing pigs that are lame, and folks say, gosh, these pigs have a hard time getting up and I need to give a good number of shots every day, I think we should put something in the water. My perspective is that it's normal to treat 1% of the pigs in a group per day for some level of lameness, whether that's mild or somewhat more significant. If it's above 1% per day for multiple days on end, then I'd consider, hey, we should probably put a little bit higher intervention level in place with a water or a feed option.
Yeah.
And if it's going to be consistent from group after group after group, then talk to your veterinarian about a plan that we can put forth to minimize the amount of work that needs to be done in the future and be the best on cost as well.
Yeah, good rule of thumb. So on a 1,200 head room, that's 12 pigs a day. So I'm treating 12 pigs a day for stiff pigs, lame pigs.
Yeah.
That would be the upper threshold. You go beyond that, then you start thinking, do I need to do something in the water? What's going on here? Do we need to investigate what's actually happening?
That's my perspective. I'd be curious to hear yours too.
I would have probably said 1% to 2% would be the range of 2% might be the upper range before you jump in. And it depends also. Now we treat to relieve animal suffering, and to keep pigs alive. We also treat with an economic viewpoint as well. And sometimes you look and think, is this worth it? Are pigs, will they get through it with or without this? Are they going to die if I don't do something? You're looking at when you should intervene, and the bigger the pig gets, the more expensive it gets too. And so there's definitely considerations on when you treat that are cost related. There have to be when you look at what's needed and what you're going to benefit from.
Just depends what type of milk you prefer. Some people are 1%, some people are 2%.
Yeah. I'm actually a whole milk guy, but I'm not going to.
You?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I drink half and half in cream too. I mean, I like dairy products.
It's fresh cream is hard to beat.
Yeah. So but I'm not going to say go to 4% or whatever whole milk is, 4.5% fat, 4% treated before you intervene with something bigger. I think 1 or 2% is the upper one I got for when you intervene. Also, like you said, how it's presenting. Some things like lameness don't tend to explode into everything dying, whereas some enteric things do. You might want to jump in quicker if you know this has more explosive potential.
Agreed, yeah. So when it comes to the other major health challenges that you would see, the other common one would be the coughing situation. And when it comes to coughing, my thought is largely based on the effect of the pigs. Because if you hear coughing in some late stage nursery or pigs in a finishing barn, oftentimes it's going to be case influenza, and oftentimes those pigs are going to be able to get through that with fairly minimal challenges. But every flu strain is different, and every group of pigs is different, especially if they have some secondary bacteria in that flow. So if you have a cough and over the course of 24 hours, you lose more than what's going to be in general 2 or 3 pigs, whether it's a 1,200 head barn or a 2,400 head barn, that's when I would say, hey, let's get aggressive with some water medications, because if it's impacting pigs to actually result in some mortalities, then we should get aggressive, because that means it's also going to be having some negative effects on their growth too. Mm-hmm. Sometimes pigs get a cough and it's fairly mild, and I wouldn't intervene then. But if you start having actual mortalities pile up as a result of it, we should get something going on in the water.
Okay. Any other guidance, rules of thumb for when to intervene with something bigger? When should you call your vet? Like some of this stuff we've talked about, it's the producer in his daily duty, and he's watching the pigs and he's making his own decisions. But when would you get excited and call your vet? Somewhere probably related to when you wanted to run heavier medication, because that's when you start being more critical on what am I doing next?
Yeah. Given the cost of doing some water medications, it's good just to confirm that you're using the right thing, especially based on how significant it is. And I would call your veterinarian and confirm that you've got the right idea and going down the right path. And especially based on the age of the pigs, and when it comes to potential marketing windows, you just want to make sure you're not going to have any withdrawal issues with anything you're thinking about doing.
Yep. Use your resources.
Yes.
Exactly. And then on that, phones, we had a podcast we did that was talking about technology in being a veterinarian and communicating with your clients. Phone pictures, short videos are really handy as well, that you can get some information communicated very well, very quickly without having the person actually there with you. Yeah. I mean, I have some producers that have Snapchat. I'll get Snapchats with pictures. So, there's many different ways to communicate in 2025. I haven't picked up TikTok yet. I don't know if we're doing any TikTok accounts or what that's looking like yet. No, not me anyway. I've heard of TikTok. I've heard of the Snapchats and the Facebook and the Instagrams, but I don't participate very well.
Not yet. Not yet.
I don't think ever for me. I think that train passed me already. But
then looking at the last big, I'd say, health issue that some groups can experience would be some looseness issues. And this is something that I would act upon much more swiftly than either of the lameness or coughing situations, because especially in young pigs that are going to be post-weaning to about 4 to 5 weeks post-weaning, there are some E. coli bugs that groups can get that can result in significant mortality in a very short period of time. And even if you just had, for example, 0.25% dead in one day, you might think, hey, next day's going to be just fine, and it could jump up to 2, 3, 4. It can really start to create a headache in a hurry. And that's why if you have a sudden onset looseness problem associated with small pigs that would be, going back to our SANA acronym, not eating that well, or they would have low gut fill, and then maybe have their eyes sunken in, indicating some level of dehydration, we are going to need to act very swiftly on those groups to make sure mortality does not climb.
Yeah, and experience is a good teacher on that. A lot of producers have been through that before, and it's you recognize it very quickly when it's going on once you've been through it and had that kind of mortality, just the extreme quick dehydration that occurs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of different quotes that you had from me, Spencer, one quote I like to say is that everyone pays tuition when they're learning lessons. You just want to keep that tuition bill as low as possible.
Yeah.
And when it comes to those challenges with gut health, make those calls quickly, sooner rather than later, because it can really get bad in a hurry.
Timely intervention.
All
right, Joseph, thanks for coming on. Appreciate the conversation and the information you presented here. And I'd say to our listeners, thanks for joining us, and join us next time for the next episode of the SwineTime podcast.
And hey, I do look forward to hearing what ad reads we do have the next time that I'm on. And
I have a feeling Katie, our producer, is going to edit stuff out on this one. I don't know. She may. She's done that to me before.
Thank you for allowing me to join, Spencer. Always a pleasure.
All right. Thanks, Joseph. Appreciate it. The SwineTime podcast was created for the pork industry and individual pork producers around the country. Hosted by me, Dr. Spencer Wayne with Pipestone Veterinary Services, the podcast contains pork industry news, advancements in animal care, and how to enhance your productivity. Find the SwineTime podcast at www.pipestone.com or on your favorite listening platform.